Hello, I'm Anne Boleyn, and today I'm going to tell you all about when I arrived at the English court of Henry VIII. I had come home from France and joined the household of Queen Catherine of Aragon, joining my sister Mary, who had been at court for several years. The occasion of my debut was a masque performed at a tournament honouring the treaty with the Habsburg alliance against the French. It was magnificent, an evening of food, dance and splendour. The masque itself involved an elaborate wooden structure of towers painted green, the Chateau Vert, with hidden musicians and platforms for us ladies to stand on. I played Perseverance, with Sister Mary as Kindness and Princess Mary as Beauty. We all wore white satin gowns with gold headdresses and our title written in yellow satin. There were 8 of us ladies to be rescued by 8 gentlemen of the court, defeating the vices that held us prisoner. Then dancing in a banquet, a day I'll never forget. My sister Mary had caught the eye of the king and to our shame became his mistress. But I was set on marriage, a good marriage of my own making. Now I was free of the Irish match. I could look around me at the youth of court and take my pick. I was young, pretty and determined not to be any man's plaything. I soon met a young man of Thomas Wolsey's household, Henry Percy, the eldest son of the Earl of Northumberland. We fell gloriously in love, but sadly he had been promised in marriage to the daughter of the Earl of Shrewsbury, and, displeasing Wolsey with our love, was dismissed to his country estates with his father. I was sent home to Hever Castle in disgrace. Whilst at home in Kent, I met a young man from a neighbouring castle, Thomas Wyatt. He was a great poet, writing reams of verse honouring me in courtly love. It could never be more, as he was already married, but I loved the attention, being brought up in France where it was encouraged to play at love. I returned to court to fulfil my duties to the Queen. Being brought up in France and a confident, poised young woman with a flair for fashion, I turned heads. I wore the more fashionable French hood rather than the dowdier English gable hood. But, contrary to that belief, I did not start that fashion. It had been known in England for many years. Even Queen Catherine had been painted in a French hood in her youth. I soon became aware of the interest of the king, though. He was a handsome man, young and vigorous, fond of sports. He had a fine figure. He began sending me letters and gifts, begging me to become his mistress. I was horrified. My sister Mary had shown me what happened to cast-off mistresses, and I was not going to waste myself on becoming a harlot. I wanted marriage, an honourable match. But gradually Henry proved his love for me, and I began to think that I could love him. We began to make plans. He was tired of Catherine, the older wife, who couldn't provide him with a male heir. I was young. I would make a perfect queen. But in 1528, I fell ill of the sweating sickness, a dangerous disease that killed indiscriminately, young or old. It was said you could be merry at breakfast, but dead by supper. I was sent away from London, home to Hever, to recover, and Henry sent his second best physician, Dr. Butts, to tend me, along with letters and gifts. He was frantic with worry, sending messages until I was able to reassure him I was well again. Whilst all this was happening, the great matter of the king's divorce from Catherine was being debated. The Pope had sent cardinals to England to oversee the trial. Obviously, they would be for Catherine, so I began to think I'd never succeed. We had many arguments, shouting matches where I'd complain that my best years would be wasted waiting for him to be free. But we always made up, and in the next instalment, I'll tell you how I became queen finally.